Hi, this is Julie Thompson reporting from IAB Innovation Days at Internet Week. I'm here with Bob Bowman, President and CEO of Major League Baseball's Advanced Media Group. Hello, Bob.
Hi, how are you?
Very well. Thank you for coming today and for wowing the crowd with your thoughts. Do you want to summarize quickly what you just talked about from the stage?
Well, I would just say that it's a pretty complicated world right now. With device proliferation, we now have to worry about manifestation of content on probably 3,000 different permutations. Overlay that with gaming and social, which are now absolutely mandatory places for content to be. And finally add in measurement, which is not where it needs to be. It's a very complicated world moving awfully fast that we need to resolve if we're going to make money with advertising.
Yeah, I mean, you said the world is probably at least 4 times as complex as it was 3 years ago.
Or I'm more. 4 times older, and it seems more complex. It's definitely more complex now.
Yeah.
But just the number of devices, it's just, and the number of devices that people use, they use 3 devices at the same time, and so trying to get a consistent message for both the content creators such as ourselves, but also for the advertisers, is proving to be a great opportunity, but one that demands a lot of innovation.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of that creativity that's needed, one thing you said that was very inspiring is that marketers are thinking outside of the box more than ever. Tell us your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I would say that the biggest change between today and several years ago is really twofold. One is that the ideas that used to be relatively narrow between railroad tracks that are maybe 2 feet apart are now maybe those same railroad tracks are now 8 feet apart, and just the idea flow is much broader. Second of all, as I said in there, the trains go 2 ways. The agencies, the advertisers, the sponsors, they themselves have a lot of good ideas and they want to put forth ideas. They're trying to innovate and take different risks. They still want ROI, but it's much more of a two-way conversation, and I think that way we're going to get a much more effective advertising platform with them.
Yeah, and one thing, obviously, as consumers are on every screen and multitasking with multiple screens, you also mentioned the size of the screens themselves playing into, it doesn't seem as friendly an ad environment. How are advertisers addressing the size of the screen?
Well, I think it's certainly true. The easiest thing is a 60-inch HD screen in your living room that you park in front of for 30 minutes. That's an easy message to get through. Laptops are tougher, tablets are tougher, and mobile phones are the toughest. They're the smallest screens, and they're generally flick screens where you just flick your finger and away you go and you're moving on. And so what we have to figure out is when they pause, when the consumer pauses or the content reader pauses, that's when we need to make sure we have an ad. And that's tough to do, and the technology we're still working on where ads sort of appear based upon a screen that stops and aren't necessarily plugged in permanently, so as you flip through them, you flip through them. But if you stop and read a story or watch a video, that's where we need to make sure we have our advertisers immersed within the content.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting what you're doing with live events and how you're making the ads work with the content. That's really interesting. What advice do you have to marketers to get to that sweet spot between live event and ad delivery?
Yeah, the great thing about live event, you all want to, everybody, content creators and advertisers, in our mind, all want to be circulating around something that's hot or trending, something that's really relevant now. The great thing about live content is it's relevant now, it's live. So you don't have to worry about whether you wrote a story 3 weeks ago and now it's relevant. This content is live, whether it's an American Idol episode or a baseball game in the 9th inning, whatever it is, it's relevant now. And so therefore, the advertisers know that if they can immerse themselves in that live content, they have a much better opportunity of breaking through and getting an association with the brand. So we're very lucky in baseball that we play 15 live games every day, and that gives us a great platform for advertisers.
Yeah, and don't you have something like 13,000 live events a year?
We do 5,000 baseball and 13,000 other events for other people. But for the 5,000 baseball games, 9 innings each, it does give us a lot of opportunity and a lot of inventory for advertisers, which we're very excited about and just beginning to exploit.
And one thing you said about IAB, the fact that you guys joined the board 2 years ago and that IAB's listening and trying to address some of these industry issues, complexity, measurement exactly, or especially. On measurement, back to your live events, what is the best metric? And is there one yet?
We don't know. I mean, in the absence of a great one, I guess we'll use many, but I think that's the point, is that ComScore uses it, Nielsen does it, a lot of people have a lot of different measurements, and so I don't think there's a right answer, and that's one of the reasons we joined the IAB. It just seems that TV landed on a thing. They didn't get there in one day either, and we just need to put our heads down and focus on this, find the right way to go and get everyone to agree. Display and aggregator content like Yahoo and AOL, live events like MLB.com and ESPN, those are the people that need to be in the room to try and figure out how we measure this accurately. Total reach, return visitors, as well as time on the site.
And just one more question on social. I loved what you said about social being more about original thought and tapping into that idea. Tell us more about that, please.
Yeah, to us anyway, everyone thinks social media is about people posting something that they thought was funny or cool on Facebook or tweeting something. And to us, the underpinning of all that is not exactly that. It's really, to us, it's original thought. It's when my daughter says something on her Twitter account, God forbid, but when she says something on her Twitter account, it's an original thought. It's what she thinks about something that just happened. And she hasn't been told by her parents what to think. She hasn't been told by a teacher. It's what she thinks. It is original thought. In that sense, I think the reason why we're seeing tweets appear in other forms of media, TV and radio, so-and-so tweeted this, so-and-so tweeted this, it's a real window to the person's original thought, what he or she thinks. Sometimes it's embarrassing, as we all know, but typically it's really rewarding, and I think that's why we like it so much. It isn't manufactured, it isn't canned, it isn't produced. It's 140 characters of what you really think, and to us, I think Twitter in that sense is going to be much more valuable as a content source than Facebook.
Well, you guys have been such digital innovators at Major League Baseball. Any advice as we head into the season for marketers?
Yeah, I mean, I wish they'd all be advertising on MLB.com, but I think the marketers have come a lot farther than we have. I mean, we used to be out there, I guess maybe slightly ahead of some folks, but now there's so many folks ahead of us, and everyone's moving so fast. And I tip my hat to the marketers and the agencies who really have done so much, and we learn from them every day. It's an iterative process. Sometimes we teach, but more often we learn, and we're all trying to share and get to some better spot.
Great. Well, Bob, thank you so much for being here.
Happy to.